नगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतम् पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात्कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमः योगीव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सेकेण्ड् मन्त्र पराचः कामाननुयन्ति बालाः ते मृत्योर्यन्ति विततस्य पाशम् अथ धीरा अमृतत्वं विदित्वा ध्रुवमध्रुवेषु इह न प्रार्थयन्ते ध्रुवमध्रुवेषु इह न प्रार्थयन्ते Pashakara introduces in that same 239, I think the page number, there is a para, yat tavat swabhavikam parag eva anatmadarshanam tad atmadarshanasya pratibandha karanam avidya tat pratikulatvat. So, initially, before the first mantra began actually, and then Pashakara gave a Sangati connection between the first chapter and the second chapter. And he told there, Esha Sarveshu, he quoted the mantra, right? Esha Sarveshu Bhuteshu Gudotmana Prakashate. Drishyate tu agraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibhihi. Even though the self, which is all pervading, basically manifest in every buddhi as the very I. It's not even an object. For object, you may commit a mistake, but this is a form of subject. Yet, na prakashate. It doesn't shine, but I shine. You cannot tell me I doesn't shine. I do not shine. That never be the case. I is self-shining. This much we know. It's not that due to senses are shining, I am shining. Even when mind is not shining, you are shining. That's how you experience thoughtless state also.
Vilken påstående.
And well, and so I am always shining. And then why Upanishad says Atma na prakashate? Guda as though hidden, covered. Yes, covered. That is by ignorance. Of course, Atma cannot be covered. If Atma is covered, which is in the form of I, then the I also will be covered, but I is not covered. Therefore, this ignorance is, in fact, the ignorance itself exists in Brahman, right? Ignorance is, ignorance shines. You objectify ignorance very well. You talk about your ignorance, areas of ignorance, means you are able to objectify. If you are able to objectify, you are the one who objectifies. And therefore, even ignorance shines in the self. Everything shines in self, in a self-shining Atma. But due to ignorance, I am not shining as I should be. Means I'm not able to know myself as I am. That much. Aham Brahma Asmi, I do not know because of ignorance. That's it. Even though it's a fact, I is shining as Brahman, but I do not know due to ignorance. That's it. So that is how na prakashate, etc. And so ultimately, in fact, that is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So what is Satyam? I was saying yesterday also, what is Satyam. There is only one thing that is, really speaking. There is only one is. No, Swamiji, everything has a ease. Space has a ease, and the time has a ease, and this camera has a ease, and the paper has a ease. So many ease. No. All I ease is due to one ease, and that is consciousness. Yeah, everything is. Then ask question: in what? Yeah, everything exists. In what? Space exists. In what? Well, you have to immediately say, I am conscious of the space, therefore space is, right? And therefore space exists in the existence of awareness. So therefore awareness, the consciousness lends existence to the space, and therefore space also is. There is only one being. That being is a conscious being. Limitless conscious being. That is you or Brahman or Parmeshwara. Same thing. That's it. Everything has a borrowed existence. Everything is non-separate. There is only one being in an ocean, and that is water. Even though we say several waves have their being, no wave has a being, right? Every wave's existence. Being means existence. Every wave's existence is due to only one thing. There are several types of waves. In English, they call with a different names. Several names. Some 8 or 9 types of waves are there, they say. And each wave has a particular name. We know only 2, 3 things, like breaker and these and something. But if you ask to Google Baba, it will it will tell you all names, various names and their characteristic of the waves and everything. Anyway, so therefore there is only one thing that is, and well, that particular being is not known. If you know that I am, that amness, that is meant I, that is belongs to everything, nothing else. But anyway, there is no pramana to know it also. So Atmana prakashate. So even though Atma is Brahman, yet na prakashate, and because adhikaritvam is not there. That's how it has been introduced there. So the main thing is avidya is a pratibandha karanam, because here it says Atma darshanasya pratibandha karanam avidya. So avidya is a pratibandha karanam, and then lack of preparedness is pratibandha karanam. Okay, so you say avidya is a pratibandha karanam, means I do not know who am I in reality. But why I do not know? Why there is the ignorance of Atma? Right? They ask this question. You say ultimately comes to ignorance. But I say why there is ignorance? So basically, there is no why. You cannot ask for, you cannot ask why for ignorance. I do not know. Don't ask this question why. No, I will ask. Let me ask you something then, okay? There is one dialect or a language called Tulu. Yeah, Tulu. Perhaps I think a coastal Karnataka and the northern Kerala. Yeah. And that region also is named Tulu Nadu. Like Tamil Nadu. Nadu means a region, Pradesh. Yeah, that. So I'm asking you, why do you know Tulu? It is a particular language, has a script, Telangiri or something. I forgot name. But that script is not well known. But it is, that's how we call dialect. Dialect means it generally doesn't have a script and not much big literature also in that language. Hmm. But it is spoken in that region. So I'm asking you, do you know this language? You say, I do not know. Okay. I have an ignorance of Tulu language. I say, why? Why do you have ignorance of Tulu language? Why, why do you don't know? What will you say? What answer will you give? Oh, Swamiji, it is there. It's so that, I did not have an occasion to know. Okay, you did not have an occasion, that is the cause for the ignorance of the Tulu language for you. But why you did not have occasion? What will you say? What will you say? Nothing. And therefore, for ignorance, there is no reason. Could you follow what I'm saying? So, one can never talk about the cause of ignorance, basically. That is our capital. This is how we start our life also. Ajnanam with respect to something will be always there. You say, Swamiji, it's not so. There are several things which are known to me. Really speaking, even a known thing is not known completely. Yeah. A known thing is not completely. If a known thing is known completely, means you know the truth of it, that is Brahman. That is Brahman. If you know a given thing completely, that is Brahman. Because everything is non-separate from Brahman. If a wave is known to you completely, means it will be known as what? What? That's it. So other than if you describe few sentences regarding wave, that's fine, you know it. Like wave has this size, its birth date is this, birth time is this, right? It must have, it has an age of 5 seconds, 5 minutes, etc. You may describe all this, but this still you don't know the wave completely. When you say wave is water, it's known. Rest you know or don't know. The, the truth of any name in form known means it is nothing but Brahman, Satyam. The truth is that Satyam. Anyway. And also that is in between while you have all kinds of ignorance. The size of the wave and these and that and etc. etc. So first is the very basic ignorance and then layers and layers of ignorance with respect to any name and form. So that object is known for good in terms of the reality. When you know the reality of it, that object is known completely. Because it is, everything is non-separate from Satyam Brahma, Asti Bhati, etc. So please understand here that this avidya, which is we call ignorance, and a adhyasa, which is born of the ignorance, that is also called avidya. And now here it is discussed this adhyasa, dehadhyasa, etc. Mula vidya, karana vidya is there. And that gives rise to a superimposition of the body, etc., upon oneself. Right? So you will say, I am body. Born of what? Mula vidya, karana vidya, main, basic ignorance about oneself. That gives rise to telling the anatma as atma. Right? So the product also is called avidya. So here Bhashyakara says, Yattavat swabhavikam parageva atmadarshanam tad atmadarsanasya pratibandha karanam avidya, that avidya is this product avidya. But it definitely, because sometimes the product is called by the name of its cause. Yeah. So if karanam is avidya, its product, adhyasa, etc. also is known as avidya only. Anyway. So basically, this samsari, the person who says that I am insecure, etc., I'm lacking, I'm a small being, I'm insignificant, well, definitely he doesn't know himself. In fact, the consciousness alone is the most secure thing because it is timeless, right? Anything which is timeless, which will be always in the form of a now, 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 means is, now. That is not subject to time. If it is not subject to time, it is not subject to mortality or any kind of changes. It is not subject to insecurity. That's how Atma alone is a most secure, but not knowing it, Mula Vidya, person says, well, I am insecure, then he has taken the body, mind, sense complex as oneself. So that is also called avidya. Dehadhyasa, Dehadhyasa also is called avidya. So that's what it is said here. I am karta bhokta, I am subject to sukha dukkha, subject to prarabdha. Oh, Swamiji, you don't know my prarabdha, etc. We say naturally. Because you take yourself to be a bhokta experiencer. And you take yourself to be a bhokta experiencer because you say the prarabdha is due to the karmas which I have done. So you take yourself as a karta also. So you take yourself as a karta bhokta, subject to sukha dukkha, etc. All is a product. Product of what? Mula Vidya. So that is also, when you say I am Sukha Dukkha, I am subject to Sukha Dukkha, that's also called Avidya. Please understand this. So product is also called Avidya and Moolam also. That is called, sometimes they call Karya Avidya. Moolam is a Karana Vidya, ignorance pertaining to oneself, which is Anadi, which doesn't have a cause, I mean. So if anything has a cause, means it has begun. Because it arises from that cause, right? Like when you say a pot has a cause, pot has a cause, then definitely if it has a cause, means pot, the effect, has arisen from that cause, clay, at a given time. Therefore, it will have a beginning. When we say our mula vidya is anadi, beginningless, means it doesn't have a cause, right? Anything which has a cause will have a beginning. So this is how, anyway, so I am subject to sukha dukkha, etc. is also avidya. I'm insignificant is subject to avidya. This notion itself is avidya. And that is a big pratibandha. That is the factor that denies you of your real self. So, yat tavat swabhavikam, Bhashakara says, what was talked so far, yat tavat swabhavikam, means what, and which is not agantuka, which is not that you have come at a given time with the ignorance. Ignorance was born at a given time. When you are born after that, after some time, ignorance is born. No. You are born with ignorance. You are born because of ignorance. Everyone is born of ignorance and everyone is born with ignorance because it is beginningless. And it will continue till you destroy by knowledge. This is a difference. What is the difference between Satyam and Mithya? Both are beginningless, right? Anything which has beginning cannot be Satyam. Because before it has begun, before it has taken birth, before that it was not. Anything which is subject to negation is not Satyam. Therefore, Satyam also is a beginningless. It doesn't have a beginning. Free from birth, etc. Na jayate, mriyate, we say also. And it will not have end also. Because if it has an end, means that it is subject to negation. So anything which is beginningless and endless is Satyam. This avidya and its product called this adhyasa, etc., is also beginningless. But it ends. So anything which is beginningless yet ends is mithya. Anything which is beginningless and has no end is satyam. That is Brahman. And this is avidya, which is beginningless, is there. And and at the same time, adhyasa also is anadi. That's how we say jiva is anadi. Jiva is anadi means jiva is basically nothing but having same Brahman. I am same Brahman with the upadhi of avidya, ajnanam, mula vidya, karana sharira. That's a jiva. So jiva is anadi. Jiva is really not an entity, by the way. It's due to association with this upadhi, which is mithya upadhi. Therefore, due to association with the mithya upadhi, well, definitely I am called Jiva. There is no entity called Jiva. Entity, the real entity, the real being, that's what I said. The being is what? Only Brahman. Everything else, so-called sentient, insentient, say beings and things and all, have their not being independent of consciousness, and therefore, anyway. So, so what was told so far about this ignorance, etc., before the Pratibandha has been told in the first mantra, that is Swabhavikam. It is natural. So, natural means it is Anadi. It is beginningless. It is not agantuka. It is not that you have come at a given time in life with, or it is born, etc. And therefore, this aham karta, aham bhokta, etc. also is beginningless. Whoever is born, especially in a human body, will definitely say, I am a karta bhokta. Will say, nobody has to teach you this, that I am a karta, I am a doer. It's a swabhavikam. Yat tavat swabhavikam parageva anatma darshanam. And therefore, definitely, parageva anatma darshanam. So this anatma darshanam also will be with parag, that also will be swabhavika. Because, say, look at this. With the avidya upadhi, you will feel that you are insignificant being, right? Because of the mula avidya. And then there will be dehadhyasa. Because of this dehadhyasa, saying, I am this, and this being insignificant in time, in place, in attributes, you will say, I am small. And really, naturally, what's your nature? You are Brahman. But you do not know, and you have this dehadhyasa, when you say I'm insignificant, that you cannot stand that. Because it's not your nature. What is not your nature will not be natural to you. You will not be able to accept it. What is not natural, I will not accept. What is not natural to anything will not accept. Yeah, even water will not accept heat. Yeah, because it's not natural. What is natural for the water is just coolness. So as you stop that stove, water starts throwing out. Anything, well, wants to be remain in a natural state. We remain in a natural state, in a deep sleep state. That's how we love it also very much. Because there you don't see yourself as an insignificant being, right? You don't see yourself as an insignificant complaining being. Or you don't see yourself as a doer, enjoyer. So you don't see yourself as a guilty, hurt. Nothing. You are free from that. That's how when you feel guilty, the easiest way you want to get rid of that is go to sleep. Whenever you have a conflict with somebody, spouse or somebody, quarrel, etc., you shut. You go in your room and then close it. And you could not sleep, that's a different thing. But so you cannot stand. You cannot stand. Yeah. Like the water cannot stand heat. Yeah. So he wants to throw it out. Same way. One wants to remain comfortable in a natural state. So that's how I am also remaining in a comfortable state. Without anything, without fulfilling any desire, I become comfortable. That's a state called deep sleep state, where you keep aside all your so much beloved, desired things. You want to keep it away. In fact, you throw it out. You have gone into reception of somebody with, best saris which you like, and best ornaments and best dresses and everything you go, and for which you have paid a lot of money, and you have undergone so much of struggle buying those things. And now you have gone there and you have come back, and now something is waiting for you. You have taken a sumptuous food and you just remove that. You don't even fold and keep it properly. It hardly happens. You just throw everything. Because a more promising experience of joy, even more than a reception, is waiting for you. If it is not there, human being will not enter into that. Human being enters into a state, wants to enter into a state which is promising to that person that this is going to give you a more joy. a lasting joy, so-called, for hours, right? Till you sleep, till you sleep. And in that, I alone experience that deep sleep state. Means I is very much awake. I slept. Means I was awake. Could you follow? I was very much awake. That I has no dimension. You had no dimension. No, Swamiji, in sleep I was seeing I am still so and so. Then you are not sleeping, sir. When you are in a deep sleep, definitely I is without any attributes, without any awareness of time, space, attributes. That I is there, which is limitless. So you are most comfortable there, right? So anyway, so this is as you wake up, then again, I am body, etc. And then, well, the sense of insignificance, etc. comes. So that mistake also is a avidya only. Atmana kartrutvam is a mistake. And unless a person corrects this mistake, he will be born again and again and again. He will be born. Jiva is born again. So correction happens when you are self-aware totally. As you are, if you are aware, then definitely with the faculty, the faculty is given to you to know, that's called buddhi, intellect is given to you. With that, you are exposed to the teaching and you receive the teaching and come to know that you are really not this jiva, ahankara, etc. That's due to identification with this. A sense of individuality is there. Really speaking, I am able to shade it off in a deep sleep state naturally without any will effort. Well, I am able to get rid of that sense of individuality by disidentifying with the body, etc. You the the awareness is there, but in your awareness there is no body at all. It was all resolved. If body is also you are aware of in the deep sleep state, it is not a deep sleep state. It's not a deep sleep state. And therefore, definitely they have resolved, but yet you are independent of them existing. That proves that this identification with this is a mistake. Identification, body, call it as Atma, etc., is a mistake. And that's this born of ultimately the ignorance of oneself. Any mistake is born of ignorance. Mistake is born of ignorance. Adhyasa, we call adhyasa. Brahma is born of adhyaropa, we call, is born of ignorance. So that's what it is. So yat tavat swabhavikam parag eva anatma darshanam, then well definitely that is, and you will have be extrovert nature. Person will definitely look for things, wants to acquire certain things, want to get rid of certain things, ultimately to enjoy the fullness. So the extrovert nature of the person, well, looking for solution here and there in the world. What is a solution for what? Solution for self non-acceptance. That's it. That's what we say. Swamiji, we want a recognition from people, our society. That recognition is this. You are okay. You are very good. You are fine. That's it. That's what. Really speaking, you have set the norm for yourself because you have an experience of a deep sleep where you are free from this self non-acceptance. You accept yourself. In fact, you are the only one who is present there in a deep sleep state, who is aware of the entire deep sleep state, ignorance, etc. You are very much there, nothing else. So you as yourself is most comfortable in deep sleep state. In fact, you don't want to get up so early and wake up also. You are very much comfortable. But that not knowing this and identifying with the body, dehadhyasa, and now there is a self non-acceptance because you see yourself as lacking in many aspects, and therefore you look for a solution outside. So you add certain attributes in a waking state, or you get rid of certain attributes in a waking state, etc. Means you put a lot of ties, they call. Puja Swami used to tell. He puts various ties, in a waking state, several ties. So then initial years are of tying, not just shirt and pant, several ties. And then middle age and proceeding now one by one tie. Swamiji, I want to get rid of everything now. Just shirt and what is they called? Pajama kurta. Bas, just pajama kurta. No, you have so many. You have earned in the life. In your career, several ties? No, 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 all ties. All ties means you connect. You connect to various things when you connect to various things in your life. As you make your career and first thing is tying a note with a spouse, getting married. Then you want children, more ties. And then in an organization also where you're working, well, as a corporate freak, they called. As a corporate freak, he has several ties. My God, he. If you look at his WhatsApp, he has no time to see WhatsApp. One day he gets tired and he removes all. Swamiji, I removed all 500 messages. I said one of their message was mine. Also, you have not seen. People without seeing, they just remove it because he's attached, tied so many places. Yeah, and get fed up in 25, 30 years, 40 years of your career. And now you want to remove these ties also and these ties also. Swamiji, I want to come to your ashram. Well, leaving aside, keeping behind all the ties. This is a life of samsari, not us. We are all sadhakas, but this is a life of samsari. Really, a funny life, I'm telling you. You put on ties with so many things, with so much effort and your resources, everything, right? Even time is a big resource. You put them and now you want to get rid of them. It's really a funny thing. Actually a foolish thing, basically. A whole human life, which is so precious, has gone at this. That's what is happening. Vivek Chudamani says this Durlabham Trayamevaitat. What is that? Durlabham Trayamevaitat. No. Daivanugraha hetukam mumukshutvam, manushyattvam, mumukshutvam, mahapurusha samshaya. These three things are very rare. One definitely earns with the help, grace of Ishvara. Daivanugraha hetukam. Deva Anugraha is a hetu for that, reason for that. Because of the grace of Ishvara, that grace is basically not a packet. Grace is your own earnings. Your good actions have given you a karma phala from Ishvara as in form of a certain favor. We call it as Ishvara's grace. It's not a packet every day he throws in the world. Then several people will be without those packets, right? They are also bhaktas, they are also waiting. Then they won't have any. So then they will be very angry on him. Or he will be called Pakshapati. You are giving packet to him and not to me. So therefore, we should understand this grace is nothing but our own good karmas written as a karma phala which will help me in my growth, which will come in a certain favorable situation. Yeah. And therefore, with the help of that, Durlabham Trayam, this Manushyatvam, gaining a human body and being a human, having a desire for moksha, gaining freedom, go on a spiritual path, etc., still rare. And you are on a spiritual path and come across really a traditional teacher who can show you the means to gain moksha. It's still rare. That's how the Vivek Chudamani says, initially itself. Yeah. So anyway, so here it is said, all this is, yat tavat swabhavikam, paragiva anatma darshanam, tad atma darshanasya pratibandha karanam. This parag darshanam is an atma darshanam. All the time seeing outside. So about seeing these anatma things which are mostly outside, paragiva anatma darshanam, and which is swabhavikam, this extrovertedness is swabhavikam for a jiva, and they turn outwards to anatma due to this extrovertedness. And that is, this extrovertedness is what? It's a cause. This extrovertedness is due to what? Avidya, ultimately. So avidya is a karanam, which is nothing but this pratibandha. Vidya is a karanam, and that is a result. Avidya results into this extrovertedness. That extrovertedness is a pratibandha, obstacle for atma darshanam, because tat pratikulatvat. Yeah, this ignorance is opposite to knowledge, Atmadarshan, knowledge of the self. So now you can understand what is this ignorance? Not Mula Vidya, that is there, but Deha Dhyasa, sense of insignificance, and then extrovertedness, right? That extrovertedness is a karanam, is a cause um, for this avidya, avidya eva karanam, pratibandha karanam, pratibandhasya karanam. So avidya alone is ultimately this kind of avidya. Dehadhyasa basically is the cause for the obstruction of um, recognizing myself as I am, Purna Atma, etc. And then he gives another cause, further cause, which has been described in the second mantra. What is that? Yacha parakshu eva avidyopapradarshiteshu avidya upapradarshiteshu drashtadrashteshu भोगेषु तृष्णा ताभ्याम अविद्या तृष्णाभ्याम प्रतिबद्ध आत्मदर्शनाः. So ya trishna. So that is ya trishna, and in between trishna with respect to what? Trishna means a temptation, not simple desire. It's an intense desire. We call temptation, we call longing. That. So first reason is avidya, dehadhyasa. Then sense of insignificance. And in order to get rid of the sense of insignificance, sense of lack, there is a desire. And that is desire with respect to certain objects is very intense. Temptation is there, right? So that also becomes obstacle. So that's the second obstacle which has been shown by Bhashyakara here. So avidya is ultimately, as I said, I am a doer, I am enjoyer, karta, bhokta, etc. And that is pratikula to Atmadarshanam. And when I commit this mistake, then Atmadarshanam will not be possible because it is opposed to Atmadarshanam, Atmavidya, because I am of the nature of abhokta, akarta. And so if I go with the notion that I am karta, bhokta, definitely it is opposed to. So that way avidya, the product avidya, karya avidya is basically opposed to. That's how Bhashyakara said, tat pratikulatvat, atma darshana pratikulatvat. So it is pratikula, opposed to. Avidya is opposed to. Dehadhyasa, or these notions about oneself, are opposed to this Atma Darshanam because it is entirely different. Here I say I am Karta Bhokta. Here I am Akarta Bhokta. Here I say I am insignificant being. There I say I am significant being. Here I say I am insecure. There it says Atma alone is a secure thing. Here I say I am time bound, naturally, mortal. Here I say I am timeless, the adhishthanam of everything. So it's entirely different. So one has to definitely take care of it. Then the second one is here been showing here. So that assumption basically that I have to free myself is avidya. Would you follow? I have to free myself. So avidyavan alone is seeking moksha. Who is seeking moksha? I am seeking moksha. So that shows I don't know that I am free. First thing. I am seeking moksha means I am free, I do not know. So therefore, basically, this avidyavan, one who is having ignorance, is seeking moksha. Seeking moksha is avidya, and therefore desire for moksha indicates what? Avidya. But you said that mumukshutvam, etc. is there. Desire for moksha. Moksho me bhuyat iti tivra ichha. So that now you are saying it is avidya. But the person who has avidya only will seek moksha. That is there. But so there are two types of desires now. There are desires pertaining to this worldly objects, sense objects, etc. If you fulfill them, you will still remain within the fold of ignorance of oneself, right? And whereas here, this desire for moksha, desire for knowing oneself ultimately, jnana also, will definitely remove what? Avidya itself. So that's a big difference. One type of desires for the various objects, arthakama, etc., will definitely keep you within the fold of avidya, right? Born of avidya. Whereas desire for moksha, desire for knowing oneself as a free self, ultimately removes this avidya. So that's a big difference. So moksha, jignasa, etc. are desires only, but ultimately they remove this avidya. All other desires will keep the person in avidya. That is better. And this avidya basically has these other ramifications. As I told you, this Trishna, etc., has been shown now. Trishna is to whom? One who is lacking. That alone has a desire. So Trishna, thirst, longing, is also born of this original or Mula Vidya. And Trishna with respect to what? So you will see all Vishaya Saptami. Ya, Trishna, Parakshu. Parakshu. So Parakshu means which are external. Desire whose objects are external, worldly objects. Parakshu. And what is that? Avidya upapradarshiteshu. And they are projected by what? They are projected by Mula Vidya. They're born of Mula Vidya, of oneself. So upapradarshiteshu means projected. Avidya upapradarshiteshu. So basically they are born of, by projection of, or they themselves are projection of Mula Vidya. Yeah. Like the Dehadhyasa itself is a projection, right? It's a projection of avidya. We call vikshepa also. There's a technical word in Vedanta. One is ajnanam. Vikshepa is a adhyasa. Like you see a snake on the rope. That's called vikshepa, which is born of what? Vidya. So one is a avarana. Avarana is a covering. The rope is covered as though avaranam. And once it is covered, there is a projection of snake, which is adhyasta, which is superimposed. So that's called vikshepa also. Adhyasa is called vikshepa. So projection. Anyway, so yacha parakshu, Krishna, this various, temptations pertaining to the objects, worldly objects, avidya upapradarshiteshu. And they are projected by the Mula Vidya. And those temptations are for what? Drashta drashteshu. So basically, those desires or temptations are pertaining to the objects obtaining in this world. Yeah, so many. Everything is so many. Yeah, everything is so many. My God, if whenever I visit Costco or anything, I find just what is that? Some cream, lotions. Yeah, lotion. Yeah, I call it cream. Oh, yo, just body lotion. Body lotion. Just body lotion means it's a whole row. That's true. And then there are other lotions which may not be much useful to me, but then maybe some shampoos which may not be much useful to me, but everything is so much. Drashta vishayeshu trushna. Many. More than pertaining to this world, temptations pertaining to the other world is much more. Much more. Several organizations are behind it. All are heaven-bound religions. Heaven-bound. Adrishta Vishaya. Adrishta means Punya Vishaya, etc. You gain it by you going. That's how they have concept. Jannat, paradise, Swarga, going to other worlds. Right? Here itself, when you move into Costco, you find that every object as though, I feel always that every object is calling me. Maybe Trishna here. So every cream is as though screaming, take me, take me, take me. Trishna. Adrishta Vishayeshu, Bhashakara says, Drashta Drashteshu Bhogeshu Trishna. Not all. Where you have a Bhoga Buddhi, I want to enjoy this, right? Bhogeshu Trishna. So that is, Adrishteshu is even bigger than that. And Shastra well definitely talks about it because this is not enough. Shastra says, don't worry. If you are fed up with the fulfilling desires here, we are giving you some imported stuff. And that is available elsewhere. There is a big supermarket there also. Anyway, and there are many service program. So much money is involved. There is one religion you must be knowing. In fact, that religion, it's a one sect of Muslims. But they are Voras. You must have seen them in Bombay also. It's a big community, very, very enterprising community, very rich people, and they're mostly in the business, Vora community. They are nothing but those Brahmins, in the time of Mughals, they were converted into this Muslims. Very soft people, very soft. There's a different type of, they're not so aggressive or something. And their Dharma Guru tells this, that definitely after the death, you will go to paradise. And definitely you will be given a beautiful mansion along with the garden, some land with the garden. Now, if you want a particular fruit trees in that garden, really, this is going on in Bombay, you can inquire. Then, if you want a particular tree, like you like chikus very much, you feel that after your death, suppose even if you go to paradise, do they have this chiku tree or not? So they say, don't worry, that Dharma Guru says, don't worry, pay here. If you pay here, you will get there. It's a hawala kind of a thing. So, honestly, and they have a prices for everything. If you want a mango tree in that garden, your garden of a paradise, well, you will have to pay 5 lakhs. If you want a simple just chiku tree, they're 3 lakhs. They're people pay. They have money and they pay here. So what I am saying is, what is available here, much more is available there. Much more is available there. Drashta drashteshu bhogeshu trishna. Bhashyakara says, drashta bhogeshu. What you can enjoy in this world, regarding there are so many temptations. And well, what is available there also with regards to those objects also, there are a lot of temptations. Tabhyam. Well, so tabhyam, because of that, yeah, this is a hetu. Tabhyam. Hetvarthe. Because of that, tabhyam means what? Avidya trishnabhyam. Avidya is there, dehadhyasa is there, sense of insignificance is there. That has given rise to this temptation, desire. Yeah. So avidya trishnabhyam. Mula vidya, of course, is there. But then there is a dehadhyasa, sense of insignificance. In order to get rid of the sense of lack, you will have a desire. That desire is intense, called temptation. And due to temptation, well, you look out here and there, or you look there. Never look here. That's a big pratibandha that is going to be narrated in the second mantra also. Paracha kaman anuyanti balaha, etc., etc. Anyway, so this is how drishta drishteshu paraksha bhogeshu avidya upapradarshiteshu ya trishna. So projected by mula vidya, longing for many things. So, and this doesn't allow you to basically, to think about the basic problem. So because the topical problems itself consume so much of your time, energy, and everything, and you don't have inner space that let me look into this. If you really look into this, whatever experiences you had in this life itself right now, you will find that what I was before is the same now. I was insecure before. I'm insecure now. I was, I was an insignificant being, and still I'm a same insignificant being. In fact, the mid-age crisis is this. At the age of 25, I had so much of energy, and I thought that I can fulfill any desires. And then I ran and ran. Now in mid-age, that break you are starting applying. Now you know that you cannot fulfill all the desires. One starts realizing. That's called mid-age crisis by psychologists. That's how in a mid-age, because many desires you have fulfilled, and there still you find that many are cropping up in your head, and you are not able to fulfill. Yeah. So you are married, you have a children, you have a certain, because you have earned some money. At the age of 14, 15, 20 years, you might have earned some money also. You have home and everything. Children are, of course, growing and everything. And you find that still you are the same guy. And so you are basically the problem. But then what happens is you project on your spouse. That's how mid-age has many issues of the marriage. And if you are in India, of course, then you feel that you cannot take a divorce also. You feel she or he is a problem. She feels he is a problem. And he feels she is a problem. Really speaking, you are a problem. Because you could not fulfill all your desires. Unfulfilled desires always crop up in form of anxieties, in form of frustrations. Yeah. You look into your frustration, you will find that something which I could not fulfill is there. If you have fulfilled all desire, you are a quiet person. You are a quiet person. But not knowing this, you victimize others. That is happening. So in mid-age, you have slowed down now. Quite slow down. Yeah. Many people become philosopher at that age. Start talking about Trishna. At the age of 25, he was, he thought that he could fulfill all desire, all temptations. Anyway. So this kind of when you have this extrovertedness, well, the whole person is occupied with issues, all topical issues, and there is no room for fundamental thinking. Anyway, so tabhyam avidya trishnaabhyam pratibadda atmadarshanaha. Due to these obstacles, avidya, dehadhyas, etc., and then trishna, of course, further. Because of that, pratibadda atmadarshanaha balaha. We have to connect it to the verse. Pratibaddaha atmadarshanam yeshamte. For whom the vision of Atma is obstructed. Yeah. And then Bhashakara has left there. Bhashakara feels that you have to connect it in the mantra. Pratibadda atma darshanaha balaha parachaha balaha kaman anuyanti. Clear? So this is how it is. So balaha anuyanti parachah kaman. Balaha. Look at that. Yamadharmaraja says they are children. They are not children. They have a children. Still, they are they are called by society as uncles and aunts. And Yamadharmaraja calls us as a child. Bhashakara quietly says, Balaha avivekinaha. Avivekinaha. Alpa prajnaha. The child has alpa prajna. Child doesn't have much intelligence. Naturally. This person also is the same. Not much intelligence. Totally occupied with the external things. My God. Parachakama, etc. So let's go to the Bhashya. Parachaha bahirgatan eva kaman kamyan vishayan anuyanti anugachanti balaha alpaprajnaha te तेन कारणेन मृत्योः अविद्या काम कर्म समुदायस्य यन्ति गच्छन्ति विततस्य विस्तीर्णस्य सर्वतो व्याप्तस्य पाशं पाश्यते बध्यते येन तं पाशं देहेन्द्रियादि संयोग वियोग लक्षणम् Anavarata, Janma Marana, Jara Rogadi, Aneka, Aneka, sorry, Aneka, Anarth Vratam, Pratipadyante, Ityartha. So Paracha Kaman. Pashakara explain every word as it comes in the mantra, in the sequence. Parachaha, then Kaman, right? Parachaha, Kaman, Anuyanti, Bala. So it goes exactly like that. Paracha, first he explained. Bahirgatan. Bahirgatan, Bahir Praptan. What obtains outward in form of this world or in the other worlds. Bahirgatan, Kaman. Bhashakara quietly says, Kama, word Kama means a desire for a given object. But the word Kama is used also in a Shastra for the object of desire. Not just desire. Kama means a desire. That's one meaning. Second meaning is object of desire. Any desirable thing for a person is also called Kama. And the real word for that is Kamya. So Bhashyakara says Kaman means Kamyan, Vishayan. Kamyan, Vishayan, the desired objects. Parachaha Kaman, which are available outside in this world or the other worlds. So Paracha Kaman, Kamyan, Vishayan, Anuyanti, Anugachanti. They go after, they run after. That's how Anu means Paschat. Yanti means Gachanti. Anuyanti means Anugachanti. They run after. Objects are there and they are running after. So, Balaha. Bhashakara says, Alpa Prajnaha. They have. Yesterday I was talking to you, day before yesterday I was talking to you. People have this, this intelligence pertaining to the world, my God. Very. In fact, people know how to communicate, how to develop instruments. So much intelligence we have. But they call spiritual intelligence is not there. Whole life. Even if they come across such kind of a teaching, they may listen. They feel this is what is going on this. These people do not have any job. They are doing this kind. This especially this person will be totally, I think, they call hobo or whatever. Is no job, no marriage, nothing, and nobody gives him a job also. So he just sits like that and talks something. This is how it is. Because they cannot get an insight. Very logical what we talk. Very logical, your own experiences. No teacher analyzes his experiences. Any Vedantic teacher basically analyzes the experiences of the people who have come for the hearing. Your own experiences are analyzed here. It's not my personal experience that I'm analyzing. Everybody's experience. Waking state, everyone's experience. Dream state, everyone's experience. Deep sleep state, everyone's experience. Right? Or even this kind of a thing, Tushna, Deha, Dhyasa, this, that, everything. You are Brahman. Huh? What are you talking? You are Brahman. Do you know this? I do not know. Over. Mula Vidya. Ajnanam is there. That very I is Brahman. No, Swami, I am Karta, I am Bhokta, I am this, I am that. Over. Deha, Dhyasa. So therefore, basically, it is Vedanta even analyzes one's own experiences, right? And analysis, that reasoning, etc., is involved in keeping with the Shastra's vision. But still, that spiritual reasoning, intelligence is not there because they are preoccupied with this. It requires a certain inner space, certain comfort within to analyze this. If you are preoccupied, you run with that, with your topical problems. You never get a time. People sometimes repent also. I have seen many people who are on a high position and sometimes due to punya, they come across and then they say, we spend whole our life in all this career and all that. We never thought of this now. And they repent. That is also happening. Anyway. So So because this, I am karta, bhokta, etc., that avidya, and then due to that there will be a trishna, which is making it worse. You're going away from this jnanam. So tena karane mrityoho avidya kama karma samudayasya यन्ति गच्छन्ति विततस्य विस्तीर्णस्य सर्वतो व्याप्तस्य पाशं पाश्यते बध्यते येन तं पाशं देहेन्द्रियादि संयोग वियोग लक्षणम. So तेन कारणेन, so because of this reason means what? Well, because of this extrovertedness, because of this obstacle being present in the mind in form of a trishna and in form of a dehadhyasa, these obstacles are there. Tena karanena मृत्योः पाशम विततस्य पाशम यन्ति. So basically they enter into the jaws of death. The mrityu itself is telling they enter into my mouth. What does it mean? So they entered into the trap set up by this mrityu. Suppose I want to escape from the hands of mrityu, what will you do? Where will you go? Mrityu means time. Everything is within the fold of death means what? Within fold of time. Fold of time is fold of death. Yeah. Where will you go? Vitatasya pasham. Vistirnasya Bhashyakara says. Sarvato vyaptasya pasham. Basically, the pasha of this time is everywhere. Anywhere you go, wherever you go, it is still within time. In fact, we measure time by place. We measure place by time. Where are you? Now. You will immediately say, where are you now? Where are you now? So time brings space. That's how even physics, modern physics explain. Time and space are really not two different things. That's what quantum physics tell. Time and space are not two dimensions. You always measure time in terms of space, distance. That's how light years. You are measuring the distance between this earth and certain star, right? That distance, space. You measure in what? Years, time, light years. Yeah. So you measure time in terms of distance or space or place, and you recognize a place in terms of time. So basically, everything is under the fold. You cannot go anywhere. So then, how will I get rid of this pasha? How can I get rid of this, this pasha of this mrityu? So tena karanenam, because of this avidya and trishna, they pursue these kamya objects, and Yamadharmaraja says, they come to me ultimately. They remain within the fold of me. So, and how can, mrityoho, this is a very, Bhashyakara is fond of this expression. Whenever word mrityu comes in a Upanishad, Bhashyakara immediately gives the meaning as avidya kama karma is mrityu. Avidya kama karma samudayasya mrityoho. Avidya, mula vidya, not knowing oneself. Fine. Then dehadhyasa, I am body, etc. Right? When you say that, you have come into a time fold. I am body. Over. You are time bound. You are mind within time bound. Anything. Subtle body, gross body within time. And therefore, as the adhyasa comes, you become time bound. As though you have entered into the jaws of death. Yeah. So avidya then brings definitely, you are feeling a lack. So there will be what? Kama, desire to fulfill the lack, to get rid of the lack, insignificance. So therefore there will be kama. In order to fulfill kama, what will you have? Karma. Naturally. Nahi suptasya simhasya mukhe pravishanti mrugaha subhashitam. Nahi suptasya simhasya. The lion which is, lying like this, the deer will not enter in his mouth as a food. He has to run around to fulfill the desire to get rid of his hunger. Same way, once you have a desire to fulfill, you have to work. Yeah. So avidya brings a kama. Kama brings a karma. And then karma will give a karma result, the karma phala. And that will be in the form of a drishtam and adrishtam. Drishta phala means you acquire here. Favorable, unfavorable. As you wish, desired and not desired. But you receive karma phala. And you also, if you definitely give up your choice based on right and wrong, but you go by ragadvesha, naturally, generally, people go by fancy. And so you definitely compromise with value structure, right, wrong, etc. Dharma. So brings adrishta karma phala, papa. Or if you follow dharma in fulfilling, well, you gain punyam also. So therefore, adrishtam also will be there. Punya Papa will be there. Due to that Punya Papa, one will be born again. As this body is born of the Prarabdha, Punya Papa. So now you have done so much of karma, which you have acquired adrishta. So you will have a new body. In that new body, suppose a human being, again you will be due to avidya, you have dehadhyasa. Then dehadhyasa will give rise to kama. That kama will, then you do karma. That karma will give you karma phala. That karma phala again will be in two forms, drishta, adrishta. If adrishta will lead you to, again, birth. So that's what it is. So one remains within the fold of death, time. I am subject to birth and death means what? Subject to time. Could you follow? So that's how it says, be due to this avidya, dehadhyasa, which is of course born of mula vidya, and this trishna, this mrityoho, avidya kama karma samudayasya, samudayasya, yanti. These people who are in whose head this dehadhyasa, ajnanam is there and full of trishna, they yanti, gachanti. Where? Vitatasya pasham, vistirnasya sarvato vyaptasya pasham. So we feel that the Yamaraja has a pasha, basically a rope to carry jiva. He ties every jiva. He pulls the jiva from the body and ties and takes it and goes on his buffalo or something kind of picture. They say that Yamaraja has a maybe a he buffalo or whatever. So it's there. Anyway, that Pasham, he comes without anything. He doesn't bring anything because that Pasham is with you. The Pasham is with you. You tie yourself and keep ready. Okay? Yeah, what is that Pasham? I can't be without this if I want to be happy. I can't part with this because I want to be happy. I just can't be without this. I want by hook or crook. Trishna. Your own Trishna is a pasha. Why do you feel like that? Oh, I'm a jiva, I'm an individual. I have several needs. I'm a needy guy. That's it. Yeah. That's due to what? Dehadhyasa. That's due to what? Mula Vidya. And this is where, if I go to United States, then only this will be there, this kind of pasha. Anywhere I go. Even I visit Bahamas. Sitting in Bahamas or walking on the shore, that very beautiful beach, if you walk on the Bahamas and something crops up, yeah, I should have this. People say this, Newport, well, it's a very near, I think it's a half an hour flight. Let me visit. They say even more than Bahamas, Newport is a very quiet, has a very beautiful beach. So Swami goes to Newport. After going to Newport, they say, Swami, you should visit Hawaii. And in one of the island of the Hawaii, there is a beautiful Shiva temple built by these Americans and this and that and Kauai or something. Kauai. So then Swami will have another Trishna. Anywhere you go, either you are in a corner, some forest, national reserve, in a Kanha National Park in India, or you are here. in that, what is that, Blue Mountain National Reserve, National Park. Anywhere you are, or you are in a ship, cruise, Krishna will be always there. You carry your pasha all the time. And to fulfill this Krishna karma, right? You will do karma, then karma phala, punya papa, janma marana, all within time, within the time bound, in jaws of death. So he doesn't bring pasha. You remain tied because of not knowing that you are free. That's it. So Mula Vidya to this Karya Vidya, to this Trishna, to this Karma, Karma Phala. Could you follow? Entire. So that is how it is. Vistirnasya Pashasya. So with Vistirnasya Sarvato Vyaptasya Pasham, and Bhashakara explained that. Pashyate Badhyate by which you are tied. Well, so I am tied by this, Dehadyasa itself. And then it says, tam pasham, dehendriyadi sanyoga viyoga lakshanam. So because of your trishnas, you have earned some punya papa ultimately. That gives rise to association with a given body, mind, sense complex, janma. Dehendriyadi sanyogam. Then Bhashakara says, dehendriyadi viyogam, dissociation also, death. Right? You, the jiva, right, with this avidya, etc. is there, so you are still jiva. And you basically you get associated with a one particular body, mind, sense complex, or you get dissociated with that particular body, mind, sense complex called Janma Marana. And that cycle, as I explained, that cycle continues. That's called Vistirna Pasham. Very, 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 it's a Pasham which is well spread. It's a trap available everywhere. Anyway, and then last line is Anavarata Janma Marana Jararogadi Aneka Anartha Vratam Pratipadyante Ityartha. Anavarata. Anavarata means what? Constantly. This Dehendriyadi Sanyoga Viyoga Lakshanam is characterized by this death, which is characterized by Dehendriyadi Sanyogam, Dehendriyadi Viyogam. That will be what? Anavarat. That's how Bhashakara again says, Anavarata Janma Marana. Constantly one goes into the cycle of this association, dissociation, or in birth and death. If one takes oneself to this body, mind, sense complex due to Mula Vidya, this is also called Avidya, but this is, if one takes it, one will definitely have this rebirth also. Anavarata Janma Marana. And once you are born, there's no question of celebration. Really? My God, person is born with a blood cancer. Born child has a cancer. I have seen, I don't want to discuss, that's not good. Born child, just born. What will be the treatment? You just imagine. It could be a radiotherapy or a chemotherapy or anything. What will be the suffering? No, Swamiji, but that comes in old age. No. Vyadhi is something, is a very good friend of the person. Goes along. So Ayurveda has this very beautiful thing. The initial years where there is the kapha is a predominant. That's how children get the sneezing and then kapha, and then they all the time coughing. And as you become young adult and so, pitta is predominant. So acidity and this and that. And as you grow old, joint pain, this pain, all indicates vata. Kapha, pitta, vata. And vata is it never goes. Vayu is the most strong. That's how Vayu Putra, Hanumanji. Yeah. Vata Roga doesn't go. In fact, they say in a human body, Because of the predominance, it is made up of 5 elements. If water is predominant, it leads to kapha. If fire is predominant, pitta. If vayu is predominant, vata. There are some 60 or 70 types of diseases born of predominance of the vayu, and no disease goes. Therefore, once a joint pain occurs, either in knees or anything, you can take care of it. Matlab, you can keep under little control. It will not go away. A knee pain or something, or even a back pain, you can, with a certain exercise and all, you can manage under control. Means they will be totally eradicated. No, that will never happen. Any joint pain is indicating a vata roga. That's how they say you take this certain castor oil. People give varieties of medicines, but you can control them a little bit. Anyway, so if Janma will be there, then Vyadhi also will be there. And if Janma will be there, Jara also will be there. Swamiji, everything is good, but this old age, my God, Swamiji, all the way, not just physically, emotionally also. Nobody cares for you, literally. And if you say something in going on in the family and you say, sit down, sit down. If we want advice, we'll talk to you. Don't say anything. Don't say. And still you say, "Pap," because they know this person cannot do anything. In presence of all, not that when you are alone. In presence of all, you will be insulted. They do insult. They never care. They never call also. So much. Emotional pain is much more than a physical pain in old age. That's how many people then give up desire to live. Yeah. Especially people who are retired will lose a lot in their value because you are not earning also. And the way you are, every time poking your nose in a kitchen and or somewhere else, they say, when the food will be ready, I will call you. Sit there. Yeah. Who will have jara? Janma. First thing is you should get janma, then all these things you are going to face. So people say, well, Swamiji, gaining human birth and all that, it's so good. Bhagavan said very beautifully in 13th chapter, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam. See again and again. The Dosha Anudarshanam. See the defect in this Janma Mrityu. Between Janma and Mrityu, what is there is all the time. This Vyadhi, then the Jara, which are inevitable. Inevitable. Emotional pain is inevitable at any age. Yeah. Swamiji, I had breakup. One young person told me. Swamiji, I had 3 breakups. Yeah. Now there's a 4th one. Everywhere it's ultimately you become fragile with emotionally, you become fragile. Any breakup will affect you, definitely affects you, whether you are male or female. Female, they say more. I would say even male basically are also, I don't want to bifurcate them, but males are very fragile emotionally. She might have undergone so much of pain, so she become a little stable. These males, they become so panic in small things. They don't find even a shirt. A shirt they don't find. They generally don't find. Generally they don't find. And then they shout, "Where is my shirt?" Then she says, "You have kept it." "No, I have not kept it. You. Huh? Generally she does it for you. And kitchen, oh my God. Yesterday I was seeing some YouTube video and said, an Indian woman generally spends 4 hours of her time, in a waking time, in a kitchen. 4 hours daily. Every day. No holiday. Then she wants holiday. She says, well, let's go out. Yeah. That's how it is. And here in West, they say 2.5 hours or some 2 hours. Because I'm cooking. You have to do dishing. That's a joint venture. So anyway, so here, there everything, even cup of tea you drink, You keep it on the table, thinking that she will come and pick it up. What a thing. What a thing. I don't want to go, but what I'm saying is just think between birth and death, what person is undergoing. Not even in old age, even in a young age, as a child. The unfulfilled desire at any stage in a human life outnumbers fulfilled desire. Unfulfilled desire at any stage, starting from child. Child wants thousand things, parents don't give. Yeah, parents don't give. He wants every toy. Parents say no. He wants all the time chocolates and varieties of chocolates. No. Then as a student in a school and everywhere, you want to come first in all the sports, in all the exams. No. And those unfulfilled desires, which are mutilated, bleeding, creates emotional issue. Creates emotional issue. Any emotional disturbance is a product of unfulfilled desire. Ragadvesha. Desire is ragadvesha. A young, my God, oh, what a desire. He wants countries to change, leaders to change. He wants religious leaders to be more reasonable, this, that. He wants a society to be, oh, this is not a good society. I want to reform this. Several types of desire. Young has a more. An old person, incapacitated desirer. Incapacitated, don't know capacity now. Old person has a number of desire, but no capacity to fulfill. Young he is also desirer, has a lot of desires, but certain capacity is there. This person has no capacity. So you are there with your unfulfilled desires. Brings frustration. Frustration. Unfulfilled desires not addressed turns into frustration. Now, what I'm saying is I'm not discouraging, but Janma and we pray to Bhagwan, please give Janma again and again. Kya baat hai? So, person doesn't want to look into all this. If you overlook, well, definitely. But if you really look into the realities of life, you find that every time it is a struggle. It's a struggle till then. So anyway, so therefore Mrityu. देहांदिरादि संयोग वियोग लक्षणम अनवरत जन्म मरण जरा रोग अनेक अनर्थ व्रातम अनर्थ मीन्स विच यू डोंट वांट पुरुषार्थ मीन्स व्हाट यू वांट पुरुषार्थ पुरुष ये अर्थ्यते काम्यते इति पुरुषार्थ पुरुषार्थ मीन्स व्हाट यू डिजायर अनर्थ मीन्स व्हाट यू डोंट डिजायर बट दे कम जन्म मृत्यु जरा रोग anartham vratam samuham, host of all anarthas, pratipadyante, they will acquire that. My God. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om